Hey guys, and how's it going? Maniac Mower here. For those who don't remember, this is my 1967 112 round fender. This is the one that had the pull start motor in it, and the whole bunch of stuff was messed up on it. The crank was messed up and a few other things. It had a pull start Tecumseh on it, for y'all who don't remember. And we tried getting this thing running. It ran and drive, but the governor on it was just awful. And so we ended up taking that motor out back and blowing it up. I don't think I filmed that actually. I just took it out back. I was not in a great mood, so I revved it up all the way and just sit there and watched it explode. It's upstairs right now. And so anyway, took that motor off of it. And I remembered I had a Tecumseh sitting around back. And so I started looking at this. This is a Tecumseh HH100 motor. I am sitting right now. I'm rolling on my chair because I've been standing all day. This is a Tecumseh HH100. It came with this round fender. And I was sitting here looking at it. It looks complete. It's got a coil on it and it's got points. I'd like to convert it over to solid state. I got a bolt sitting here right now. I was seeing if these holes were threaded, which they appear to be. Somebody put a starter on it, and they put it's got a stator, it's got starter, it's got a carburetor. We're going to replace that carburetor with the one off of the 68. It's also, I was taking a look at it and I noticed right off the bat the head bolts are all loose, and they're not even the right head bolts. So we're gonna have to do some digging, but you can see it's loose. I got a Tecumseh gasket upstairs. They're all loose. The motor's not even bolted in, it's just sitting there. So what I think we're gonna do is we're gonna convert this over to a solid state. I'm gonna put another starter on it. I'm not gonna use that starter. I don't know if it's any good or not, but we could always find out. I got a good starter, so we'll use it. Now, round fenders came with a generator. I do not have a generator, so I'm just going to use a starter on it like they had done. Not quite sure if this motor ever ran with this tractor, but we're sure going to find out. So let's go on ahead and get some wrenches. We're going to pull out the motor. We're going to put it up on my little cart, and we're going to take a look at it and see what needs done. Figured I'd put you guys up in the stand, and I also put this motor on the table. We're going to go on ahead and just take a look at it. This is a HH100. I can tell by just looking at it, it's the same as what comes out of those 112s, so it is a HH100, and it's got an older style starter. Starter seems almost kind of like it's seen better days. I got another one we'll be putting on here though, so turns over. Motor turns. Shouldn't have any compression. That's not bolted down. I don't know if any of these bolts, they don't seem like they really want to go in very far. I have to go down quite a ways for it to work. So we may end up having to do something with these bolts, get rid of them, or we have that HH100 still. Well, that one went down. I guess if this one went down, then this one might. We'll find out. So it's got a spark plug in it. As you can see, it does have oil in it. Let's check the oil here. We don't need cleaned. It don't need new oil. Not over full. Try it on the full line so it doesn't sit with gas in it. Let's get the starter off. Well, Just kind of assessing it right now. Turn it so you guys can look at it too. Doesn't look bad. Looks like it most likely had a oil leak. Oil blew out like the 68's motor did. Throttle. Governor linkage appears to be pretty good. Doesn't have very much movement to it, I notice. Where's the... Huh. It appears that busted off. That is really weird. That busted off, so we can't use that carburetor anyway, so it's going to come off. So we'll just go on ahead and pull it before I get ambitious. Doesn't look like a bad carburetor though at all. I think it'd work. But we do have another carburetor we can put on it, so we will. And I'm looking at it right now. It actually doesn't look like too bad of a motor. If we got a spacer, we'll have to put on here. Most likely it blew oil out of here. Coil is going to come off. Here's the screw. Then it also has points on it. We will end up probably taking them off. We're not going to use the points. Does this thing even... I wonder if these points even work. Let's find out. Oh, they do. Look at that. I doubt that coil's any good. Let's find out if they're adjusted where they should be. Grab my feeler gauges here quick. Went over there and grabbed my feeler gauges. Oh, spot on. They're right at 20. So, and right there is where you'd adjust it, so it's... Huh. Cool. So, we may end up trying this and see if it has spark or not. What do you guys think? Should we put 12 volts to the coil and find out if it wants to, or if it's got spark or not? I kind of think we should. Let's go on ahead. I guess we'll see if that starter will turn the engine over, and if it does, we might end up using it. What we should do, we'll spin it over first and make sure it turns over, and then we'll hook the battery up to the coil. Let's get this stator. We'll hook the battery up to the coil. We'll get a coil wire for it, and we'll see if that coil's any good. Let me grab a coil wire, and we will find out. Went ahead and I just put that starter on there. I put the starter on and bolted it down. So let's go on ahead and find out if it's going to crank over now, or if we still have a problem. It could possibly just be it's not getting grounded, you know, but it's always... This doesn't have a spot I can ground to like that one did. But under here is our positive terminal. Ground it right to the starter, I guess. Okay, you guys ready? Let's see if this thing will crank over. I'd say it cranks over pretty good. Shouldn't have any compression to it. I feel like it could crank over a little bit faster, but it does okay. So now what we need to do is we need to hook a battery to the coil. And once we get a battery hooked up to the coil, we should be able to see if we have spark or not. So let me put this up here, go grab a battery and see if we have spark. I don't really expect much from this motor. To be honest with you, I don't even think it's going to run. If it has spark, and we put the head gasket, we got to put a head gasket on it and everything. Because like I said, the motor, it just looks loose. I do have a head gasket upstairs for these Tecumsehs, so we're good there. But, man, now we got to find somewhere to ground to. I think we can ground it to this, and it might be okay. Then we got to run our positive lead to here, if we can, which it would appear we can. So, great. Now we'll put this here. Hell, I didn't think of that. That hold it down. That'll hold our thing down, and then these two over here go to the battery. I'm going to go on ahead and say that that coil's bad, or the points will need to be cleaned up. Oh wait, we have these hooked up wrong. I'm going to go on ahead and say that no spark. Well, let's find out. You guys see? I'm sick of bumping the damn camera. Ready? Let's see if this motor's got spark. I will be very surprised if it has spark. I'm going to go on ahead and say 10%. Ready? Oh, well, I couldn't see it. It was on this side. Ready? No spark. So, it is quite possible though, it's because this is touching the rubber and not the metal. Yes, I did notice that, so let's try it again. Let's try that and see if that works. It also, okay, ready? No. Okay, so leaves us with one of three things. The coil. Oh, you know what? The battery's not even hooked up. Oops. Hook that back up. Let's try this again. Because it was kind of sitting on the rubber, so let's try this again. Ready? No spark. Okay, so we have no spark. So I'm gonna go on ahead and just guess the coil's bad. Like I said though, we may end up just switching it over to the other style. I know it'll have spark if we do that because I tested the one and it's still good, so. That could be our whole issue. That's all rusty, but you know, let's go grab that solid state and just, we know it'll have spark if we use, it'd be really cool though to actually use the coil, you know, but I mean, if it's not going to spark for us, then no, we could do. We could see if those points are clean. I'm going to go on ahead and pull those points, and we're going to take a look at them and see what they look like. Ended up not finding a coil upstairs. I do have a coil over there, but that's for another motor. So what I think we're just going to go on ahead and do is we're going to use this solid state right here. So we'll get it put on here and try it out and see if it works. Put that solid state on there. Let's go on ahead and see if it'll work or not. Should have spark. Let's find out. Ready? We don't need to hook the battery up to it or anything, so the battery is, of course, just sitting there. You can see I just unhooked it because it's still hooked up to that coil. Ready? Really? Still no spark? I wonder if this plug is bad. Let me grab another plug. Went over there and I grabbed another plug. Let's go on ahead and try this out. Ready? I also cleaned it up. I'm almost wondering if this had been, I wonder if it had no spark because of a bad plug. Let's find out, because I know this is a good coil, unless, well, it could be that flywheel, but let's find out. Ready? No spark. That's really weird. So, okay. I wonder almost. If the contacts on this flywheel need to be cleaned. Let's find out. Let me grab my wire wheel for the drill. Let's go on ahead and try it out though before I decide to get rid of this. I do have another flywheel I can go get. I'm not quite sure if it'll work or not, but you guys ready? Let's see. No spark still. I got another coil we could bring back. Let me run up front and see if I have any other coils or anything I can go get. Put another flywheel on it, and I also changed the stator. Let's go on ahead and try it again and see if it works now. I actually think the stator is supposed to be hooked up to the coil, and I'm almost wondering if that's where I messed up. Let's go on ahead and try it again. Ready? Yep, we got spark now, so that's good. Okay, so what do you guys think? Should we go on ahead and tighten down the head? Well, first off, we got to put a head gasket on it, but what do you think? Should we put a head gasket on it, tighten down the head, and see if we can get it to run? I kind of like that idea too. Let me run upstairs and I'll get the head gasket. We'll bring it down, we'll get the head tightened on there, and we'll see if it'll work. Ran up and grabbed that head gasket. Let's go on ahead and pull this off of here. Set I don't think it should matter what goes where. So let's pull the head off. That needs cleaned up. Yeah, we're going to want to clean this up before we do much of anything. So let me clean this head up with this motor block real quick, and I'll put another battery in and we'll see what we can do. Went over it and I cleaned it up a little bit. I want to spin it over here fast and just make sure that the valves are all moving like they're supposed to. See, the carburetor valve came up. There we go. Looks like that's still got some of my cleaning stuff that I use. For anybody wondering, I like to take Gojo. It's a degreaser. I like to go and I like to put it on the top of the motor as I wire wheel it, help get the stuff out of it. It cleans it up really good. That's what I used on this motor, on this one, and I've also used it on other motors. Oh, that needs wire wheeled. We may have to wire wheel the cylinder, just the top of it, not the whole thing, but just this little spot up top, because it's got a little ring. Wire wheeling, it won't hurt it. I'm just gonna get this little ring up on top. Second thought, I'm not gonna bother with it. I'm just gonna leave it alone. I did went ahead and I grabbed the book and I torqued down the bolts. So let's just put this in here and make sure we have compression. If we don't, then we know something's wrong. Let's just see if we have compression or not. We'll try it. We'll put a carburetor on it next, and we'll see if it wants to fire. Ready? Ooh. That's good. We got compression. Ready? Spin it over. Yep, I hear it. You can hear it if you listen carefully. See? Piston's up. Compression. There we go. So I would say, I don't know why that starter's so weak though. That could be the whole problem right there. Let's hook this up again and see how it does. Ready? I don't know why it's having such trouble turning it over. Let's try this. This might do it. We'll see. Just turn it over with the battery. Put this to something. I almost wonder if that. There we go. Let's try it. Ready? Let's see if it'll go. Yep, look at that. So, what do you guys say? Should we go on ahead and hook the... we don't need this. Should we go on ahead and see if we can get this thing to start? Yeah. Let's throw a carburetor on it. We'll pull this off. Go look for a second thought. We may just leave that on there. Let me go grab a carburetor and I'll put some bolts on there for the carburetor and we will see if this motor will fire. Got that carburetor on there and tightened down. Let me go get some fuel. We'll dump it in there and we'll see how it does. I don't think we need the funnel. We could probably just do it without. I'm still keeping an eye out for it though, so. Ready? That should be about enough. Well, yeah, we need a little bit more. I just don't want to overfill it. Put a little bit more fuel in it before we try it. If I remember correctly, the piston should be up. I'm hoping it's not up all the way, but I think it is. Just put the plug in. It ain't flowing out anymore, so that's good. You guys ready to see if this thing will go? Let's see. Choke it? Nah, we won't choke it. Titled all the way down. Oh boy, ready? Might want to move back. I think I overfilled it. Just wants to move for whatever reason. Let's choke her. That's fully choked. Well, okay then, ready? There it goes. Let's try again. Damn. Hold it. That's probably the first time in however many years this little motor has run. I'd say it didn't do half bad. Although, that's still rubbing, but it should be fine. What do you think? I don't think it did half bad, so didn't piss any oil out. Oh, there's that gasket I was looking for. What do we want to do now? I would say we could drop this in the round fender right now and it'd be we'd have to wire it up and everything though, but I mean, it'll run. We know the motor will run, so that's good. What do we want to do from here? Should we, you know what? Let's just go on in, we'll put it in the tractor. We'll drop it in there for right now. Then we'll get it all wired up and we'll see if, we're not gonna wire it up, but we'll just see if we can. This motor's not that heavy. We'll get the tractor opened up, we'll drop it in and we'll just set it in there. We'll try driving it around here a little bit later. Got that motor in, as you guys can see. I'm gonna go on ahead and tighten it down. When I get it tightened down, I'll bring you guys back. So as you guys can see, I put the motor in and I also got the hood on it. I didn't have another one of these mounts, so I just made one. I don't have a grill for it either. I'm on the hunt for one currently, so if you know where I can get one cheap, let me know. It doesn't have to be pretty. But as you can see, we got our belt hooked up. No wiring though, we'll have to do some wiring on it. This key switch most likely is going to end up coming out. This is our wire that goes from the stator. We got to put a starter solenoid on here and we got to put a few other things. Once we put, mostly, everything should be pretty simple. It's, this is the gas tank holder and also the battery holder. I'm going to see about putting the solenoid on it too. See, this goes down in like that. Actually, I might have it upside down. Yeah, that's how it's supposed to go in. Right there. Wait a minute. And there's supposed to be a generator in here, but I don't have a generator, so this is where the gas tank's gonna go. Not quite sure where the battery is supposed to go yet. There we go. And then that's in. So I guess everything goes back behind here. So we'll put the gas tank in and we'll put the solenoid in. We'll get her all wired up. I think I'm just gonna do the wiring off camera. You guys know how to wire one of these up. So let's just go on ahead and we'll do this. I still think this is supposed to be up like this to hold the battery, but if it was, the hood wouldn't shut. So I guess it is supposed to be like this. So, okay, let's go on ahead and get this done. I didn't really think you guys wanted to see it, so I just went ahead and did it. I hooked the fuel line up. I stuck some lights on it that I had sitting around just for looks. I hooked the fuel line up. It actually, I don't know if it's going to work or not. It'd have to be, something's not right. Because this is up all the way. I think this is in like it should be. So, something ain't right. Because this is down too low for it to, once we fill this up all the way, we're going to need a pump. So we may have to pull this out and flip it around. I think we may have put it upside down, so that's where we're at for right now, like I said. So let me flip that around and we'll try it again. Okay, so I went ahead and I fixed that. Now it's back on there right, and now I figured out where the battery tray is, right here. So now that the fuel line will work, what do you guys say we dribble some gas in it, get it to go? We'll put a filter on it. If it'll start, we'll put a filter on it, and we'll take it out and mess around a little bit. Let me put some gas in it. Where's my gas can? It's over here. Let me put some gas in it. We'll try it out and see how it is. Went in there and I grabbed my gas can. We're just going to put what's in here in. There's not a whole lot in here, so that's the lid off the 68. I kept it around for this. Oh shit. Missed. Couldn't get in there because of the, oh, you know what? I forgot about that leaking. Grab my phone real quick. Okay. Ready? Do that. I didn't notice until I looked at it earlier. The variator and the deck lift have what looks to be grease zerks. I have never seen that before on a John Deere, actually. We'll fill it with enough to take it out for a drive. Shouldn't leave it that much, but you know what? Let's run some gas. How much do we put in there? Let's put this on. Watch that just be enough to cover the bottom. Here's the question, is this going to close? Let's find out. Oh yeah, I didn't think it would. Okay. Then right here is where the generator would be, but there's no generator, so we're using the, what's it called, a starter. I do have that zip tied in, the battery tray, for anybody wondering, because I am going to end up pulling it back out so I can wire this tractor up. Let me get my paper towels and we'll clean this up so it doesn't catch on fire on us. I don't see any leaking, so that's good. Just except for what came out here. Oh. Well, see if this is open or not. I think it is now. Well, I don't know what way is open and what way is closed. We'll find out. We'll put it in the middle. Now it's open or it's closed. Either way or so. I think I'm going to take a look at that other starter we pulled off of here. I may end up putting it back on if it was just that. It was the, what's it called, the jumper that was making it not turn over so well. Because if that's the case, then we can reuse that starter. Because that's a good starter, but we'll see. What do you guys say we go on ahead and hook the jumpers up to it? Turn you over to the other side. We'll hook some jumpers up to it. We'll see if we can get it to start. Went around on it with a towel and dried it up. Let me move my battery over here so we can try and start this thing up. You guys ready? I'll move you back just in case. Ready? Positive. And let's go. Okay. Does not want to go. I'm guessing it's because that's there. Just come off. Yeah, like I thought. Well, it might be that's touching ground. So this. We're gonna have to do something about that then, I guess. Let's put this one on. We're gonna swap them. This side will go on the battery. Because for whatever reason, this side is just not cooperating well. So, does this one, yep, how's this one? It does it too, but it's fine. Doesn't do it as bad. That's the thing about having it in the tractor now is you can't, well, you can, but you don't have many places to ground, you know. Let's try that. Ready? Here we go. We'll give it a second to get some gas. Ready? Uh-oh. Something went. I don't know if you guys saw it or not. I don't see any smoke. I think the ground came off. Positive's still there. Yeah, ground came off. There we go. I don't like that touching ground. So, ready? Wonder why it doesn't want to start now. Is it even getting fuel? Let's close that. Take a look. I wonder if we were to choke it, if it would help it or not. We're down here looking at the carburetor. It doesn't wiggle at all, so no gas leaking out of it anywhere either, so I guess we're okay. But I'm just gonna bring this out some and see if that, I wonder if that'll do anything for us. Just out of curiosity, because it seems like it's firing, but it doesn't want to run. Ready? Okay, so I think we can safely say it's not getting fuel. Let's pull that off of there. Let's pull the line off of it and see if anything comes out of it or not. You would think we could pull that whole, we could pull this out and see. Ooh. Look at that, no fuel. So we're not getting fuel, is where I'm leaded, is this leads me. So now, the next question is the needle sticking? Or do we get gas? Ready? No gas. So that's our problem right there. We're not getting gas to the carburetor. So I'm wondering if we were to run this like that, no. How do we get fuel? No. Okay, so there's our problem. And I think I just spotted this right here was held together with a pair of vice grips. I'm starting to wonder if the vice grips closed it. Try to squeeze it. Try to squeeze it back into its shape. There we go. Let's see if that helped us. Ready? Anybody want to suck on that and find out? I don't think so. So, doesn't seem to be any fuel coming out of it. I wonder. You guys don't think. Let's see if we were to loosen this off of here, if that would do it. Trying to think of what way would be. I think it's that fuel filter. What do you guys think? Or do you think this switch is just junk? Can you guys even see? Yeah. So I'm wondering. Ooh, hold on a minute. What is that gunk? You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking we tighten the lid down, we pull the tank, we'll throw another tank on it, and we'll see if it wants to run off that. I know the motor wants to run. You can hear it, you know, I mean, it wants to run, but let me run over here real fast and see if I have another fitting. Got that battery up on the charger. For anybody who's wondering what that noise is that you guys hear, that's the charger. It makes a grinding noise for whatever reason. So we're going to close this all the way. Yep. We're going to close that up all the way, and we're going to see. It needs to be open 1.5 turns. So that's half. That's 1. That's half. So that's open 1.5. And I don't think I've messed with this one yet. So we may just leave it alone. But this one needs to come out 1.25 turns. 1 turn and then 1/4 of a turn. I sure hope you guys know what 1/4 turn is. Ready? 1 1/4. There we go. Okay, so I would say now it should probably start, unless we're missing something, which I don't think we are. Everything down here looks about right. That looks about right. We need to put the air filter on it. I have never had to choke this motor before. I'm actually really wondering, because this butterfly doesn't want it shut all the way, if it moved at all or not. So we may have to play with it a little bit. But I would say let's go on ahead, wait for that battery to charge. Once that battery is done charging, we can try starting it, see if it'll start. Went ahead and I charged the battery. I also opened up the big doors and I swapped to that fuel filter because the one just seemed really plugged up. So we're going to see if we were to charge. Let's see if we can get this thing to start now, seeing that we've done a few things to it to try and fix it. Ready? combat for what's going on. All right. It appears to not be getting gas. Never mind. Want to try driving it? Let's see how it does. It ain't getting fuel for some funny reason. We'll have to take a look at it again. We know it runs, so that's good. Oh, that's just good. We know it runs though, so that's good. So, head gasket doesn't look like it's loose, so that's good. So we know it's getting gas. We know the carburetor is good. But it just does not want to deliver fuel. I don't know what way is open and what way is shut. I'm wondering if I should just go on ahead and change this fuel line, this supply line, because for whatever reason, it does not seem it wants to. See, now it's. Does it go any faster if I... Yeah, now it's open. Okay. Now it's getting fuel. So I don't know. I don't understand what the problem is with it. But, you know, whatever it is, I mean... I'm not going to tighten the hose clamp down all the way. But now it's getting fuel, so let's try starting it up again. Can you guys still see it? Yeah, okay. Let's hook everything back up. I gotta remember what. We had these hooked up. This one went down here. Tell you what, it idles and runs pretty damn good. Throttle's not hooked up to it yet, so I can't throttle it, but everything else is, so not the choke, but the clutch and everything else works. We could spin it over and start it by hand, but I don't think I can spin it fast enough to get it to go. Ready? Let's try it again and see if we can get it out of here. It's got a little bit of a smoking problem, but it does have some two-stroke oil in it. I'll tell you what, I'm kind of surprised it started up. Let's take it around for a little bit of a drive. Variator seems to be kind of questionable. I think the motor needs to move up just a little bit. Once the motor moves up, it should be okay, but it doesn't slip too bad. You just gotta sit there and mess with it when it does, but keep in mind, this tractor hasn't been used in quite a while, so. Well, I'm gonna take it and drive it around a little bit, and then I'll bring you guys back after I play with it. Went ahead and started messing around with it. And I think we're down to the point now. It runs okay. It doesn't run good, but it runs okay, so I think that's where I'm going to leave it. Let's just go on ahead and put the shrouds on like this. I put a wire here for when I decide to put the solenoid on it. Still got some gas left in it, but that's fine. If we put this cover. Okay, so a little bit of an update on what has been done. I noticed that the camera cut off on me while I was putting the side panel on. It ran out of battery and I didn't catch it until it was too late, so what we did was we got the side cover put on. Haven't really done much of anything else at the moment. I'm still looking to see. I'm looking for a hood support and a grill. I made my own little grill. It's not the greatest. It's not the greatest. I made my own little hood support too. It's neither one of them are very good, but I mean it's better than not having a hood. So what we still need to do on the round fender is we need to wire it up. We need to hook up, we have our throttle hooked up, but we need to hook up our choke. We need to hook up our lights. We need to get all the electronic work done. I'm looking for my crimpers right now. I cannot find them. They were sitting on they were always in the drawer, and this time I need them. They're not in the drawer, so how convenient. So, okay. Currently making, now I know you guys are all going to say that my lights aren't factory. I do not have the factory headlights. These are actually if you guys don't remember, these are the front lights that came off the Craftsman. If you notice, I took them off and I stuck them on here. I'm currently working on a backlight for it to go back here. It's not going to be an original light. It's going to be an LED. But you know, it's better to have something there than to have nothing. And I know that when I do it, it's going to be done as close as I can get it. And I also have the headlights on. For those of you who are wondering, I always had thought that the headlights were supposed to go here. They are actually supposed to go up on the hood. They're supposed to be back a ways from here. I've seen them here and I've seen them here. I've also seen them on top and on the thing. If you're looking for a factory, if you're looking at a round fender and wondering if it's factory or not, your headlights are actually supposed to be back here. I may have it back a little bit too far, but for those who are wondering, that is where they are supposed to be. Why, I don't know. But you know, it works. And you would think that you'd see a shadow from the hood. That's the only thing that bothers me about having them right there. But you know, it works, and I'm not going to complain about it. So, okay, I think our next step, I'm wondering what bulbs those front bulbs use, because I'd like to put LEDs in them if I can, or put a reflective surface behind them. I don't know how bright they are yet, but we're going to find out. So, okay. Let's see if we can I'm going to go on and end this video here. I think we're into this project far enough. What I think I'm going to go on ahead and do next is we need to put some kind of elbow on here. This sticks out too far. If I was to put a grill on here, I'd have to cut this out. There's an elbow they have that makes that face up, and I also think that what's it called? That air filter assembly might be a little bit too big to make this work, but they have a thing. It's an elbow that comes right straight up. It comes off the carburetor, and it goes straight up, and that's what this filter assembly goes on. I don't have one of them, so I can't put it on there, but I am keeping my eye out for one, and if I find one, I will put it on there. Fuel tank's on it. Still need to put a battery in it. Once we get a fuel tank once we get the battery put in it, we get it all wired up, we should be able to get this thing running. I have no doubt it'll run, but I'm hoping I put the head gasket on there right and tightened all the bolts. I've got them to spec, but I think there's a certain procedure for doing it. I did it in a star pattern like you're supposed to, but I couldn't find a torque spec. I couldn't find a bolt pattern. So I just went corner to corner, side to side, front to back, and like that. So, okay, well, in the next video, currently my mount I am making for the round fender is drying. So we'll put that on. We'll get hopefully if I find my crimps, we'll get this thing wired up, and it'll have its own battery in it, and we can use it, drive it around by itself. So, okay. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video.